Hello there. This is video 8, and we're going to touch base on where we've come from so far and where we are right now, and where we're moving forward from. So, I've tried multiple forms of rehabilitation. I find that, you know, some people are good with certain ones, some are good with other ones, some are good with a multiple um, method of recovery. And what I wanted to do was just go through all of them until I found what worked for me, because it doesn't work for not what works for one doesn't work for everyone. So you're basically trying to find the perfect recipe for your own sobriety. And basically, what the best thing to do is just keep going until you find it. Sometimes you don't win the first time with something, but it doesn't mean it's not going to work a second time or third time. A couple of the things that are being successful this time are things that did not work the first time, but like I said before, it's about structure. You have to have multiple forms, you have to have a lot of support, you have to have all this back down foundation structure as a base. And that's going to make all the difference. I find I made a lot of classic rookie mistakes for trying to get sober. I guess there is a lot of the same things we try instantly and what we think, and then we're ready to give up. But you have to keep on trying, because eventually you'll find that formula that works. So, right now, what has worked for me personally is I got rid of all the toxic people in my life. I cut absolutely everybody loose. I reconnected with myself, my true self. I've reconnected with my faith. I have reconnected with friends and family, loved ones that are still standing by my side, still been there, but I've kind of kept them distant because, when you're in the darkness of addiction, it wants to keep you alone. It cuts you off. You want to stay in that darkness. So anybody good for you, you'll initially stay away from to try to avoid them and keep your cycle going. And that's a normal human behavior thing to do. But reaching out and keeping it keeps you connected to people, it keeps you in the light, it keeps you part of this world, and that's what you need. So that makes a huge difference. I am also going to NA meetings. My counseling finally started up, or it's about to start after years of waiting. And then I finally talked to the person at the counseling center got my name. They said it was going to be another 6 months, and then lo and behold, I got it early, and it's only been 3 months. But yet again, it's been like a couple years prior to that waiting, because of lockdowns fucked everything up. But um, it's finally happening, so I'm excited for that. I've completely been open and raw, shared all my emotion, never held anything back. That's a big step. You can't be scared to share. You have to let it all out, and that is very difficult. I also not encouraging drugs by any means. I read that in Europe they are testing acid on people for PTSD, getting past mental blocks. Now, I did try that after I read it, and it did open some doors. Unfortunately, what they don't tell you is the side effect is you can't shut those doors. Those doors are open. It lets a lot of shit out, and it is very devastatingly emotional to go through that. It hits you really hard. Stuff you even didn't know you were pressing, it all comes screaming out like a bullet of pain, and it lasts for a long time. That was very difficult to get past. I'm glad I was able to do that, only because I did have blocks I couldn't get past. I kept repressing, I kept holding in, and I felt like I was topped off, like I couldn't hold one more ounce of pain, and that's where that led to that. Now, there are other ways to do that. I didn't try any other way. I just thought that was going to be an easier fix, but I paid the price, and it was a big price. Um, but almost a year to calm down from that, and I am making good progress. I been to the meetings. They gave me numbers. I reached out to every number. I reached out to every person. Every time I was feeling like I'm overly emotional, like it could lead to something, I immediately got myself to a meeting. I reached out to somebody and had that connection. So that pulled me back. It kept me focused. And I also have to remind myself every day I had to get rid of my like stop watching TV. I had to stop playing on my phone and focus on like reading. Addiction, I read, part of it's mental. Like you have to know how to get your head around it, what is happening, why it's happening, how addiction hijacks your brain, how it controls you, how it gets past your mental blocks to get what it wants, how it can lead you to places and to people close to places just so you could feed your addiction. You can end up at places you don't even know how you got there, and you're like, what the hell? And when you realize you subconsciously made decisions to do it, that's just the addiction driving, because it's found a way past your roadblocks to get what it wants. So like, you have to keep in mind, you're not always driving, you're not always making the decisions you think you are, but the addiction, when you let it get strong enough, it can really manipulate you to get there. And it's got to be very hard for most people to, like, if you don't understand that, you don't understand that's happening, then you're just going to let go off thinking you're doing everything you want to do, but you're not driving. All I do is read and try to learn, find a way around it. Part of beating addiction is understanding the science, neuroscience behind it, why and where, and like just like how it controls you. It's a huge part of it. Like it's not, you got the part of the mental, you got the part that's physical. Your physical, your behavior is addicted. It's like muscle memory. It wants to keep doing that, but it's only because it's used to doing that. Reconditioning takes time. So don't expect this to happen overnight. It takes a long time. For most people to trying to get sober, you're looking at a couple, 3 years, maybe longer, of really putting it effort in. And I'm having the best success this time because now I'm putting in 100%. Before, it was as much as I could give at the time, but you're never, for one, you can never gonna help yourself by not putting 100% in. And for two, I keep in mind I've lost a lot of friends to this, and then just in the last couple of years since the lockdowns, I have lost a lot of friends to addiction and addiction related stuff. And you don't know how much time you have. The farther you go in, the higher risk things get, and there's a good chance that you're not making it out of there. The time is now, and the time is going by, and you need to think about, if you seriously want to quit, you have to put it all in. You got to put it all in now. There's no waiting, because you might not be around to say it. And I never thought life was going to get better, but I feel like life started when I got sober. I know I haven't been sober that long, but I have living more right now than I have in the last 10 years. And what does that really say? And I couldn't be happier. And so I want to speak to those and connect with those struggling and doing the same, going through the same thing. So hopefully they can have a fighting chance to get out here, because the percentage of people who make it, if you look it up, is, well, it's not encouraging, but you want to be that percentile that does. And it's not impossible at all, but it is hard, and it is mind-numbingly brutal at times, and it's something that you're going to live with your whole life. But I promise you, the longer you go sober, the less that urge is there, the less you want to do it. You forget why you wanted to be fucked up in the first time. You forget what real happiness is like, real human connection, and it pulls you out. It pulls you right the hell out. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, if you're really struggling and it's like an emergency, call those outreach numbers. I personally had called them before and nobody answered around the lockdown, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me right now? These are supposed to be 24-hour help numbers, and nobody is answering the phone. So that I've had bad luck. I've slipped through the cracks the couple of the first times I try to get sober. It's not a good system. The world system out there is not good. You have to be your own system. You have to create your own system. You have to be your hero to get you out of this. Nobody's going to do it for you. So just keep that in mind. If you want it bad enough, you will get there. That's one thing I can assure you, but you just got to keep getting up when you fall back down. Just never go back. Just keep going forward. Eventually, those times in between for me got less and less. The sober periods got more and more. I weaned off very, very slowly. Had negative reinforcement that why I was doing it, what the drugs do to me, how it affects my life, and constantly reconditioned my brain to associate with that whenever I thought about drugs. It made a big difference. So hopefully, I didn't miss anything, but yes. So if you need to reach out to me specifically, don't hesitate because I might not get back immediately, but I will do my best in all my means to reach back. Okay, thank you.